We're going to do a little informational speech on military leadership history. Within this, we're going to touch on the different characteristic traits, the different history within it, and we're also going to talk about some influential characters or military leaders that we have come across in our time that has helped shape, form, and mold the way that military leadership is done today. It takes a special person, no doubt, to be a military leader. You have to be a chameleon of sorts. You have to be able to be proficient in many different areas. You have to be both with their physical and psychological needs, that's soldiers, health and welfare, emotional status. You have to maintain their bearing and their physical fitness. It's very important. So, to begin, I'm going to touch on a little military history. Military history first came about within the United States around 1775. Continental Army was formed. That was General George Washington, of course. They were formed basically out of ex-British soldiers who wanted to break free from Britain rule in the new land. At first, a very unorganized, not your atypical structured organization. Actually, while Benjamin Franklin, who was in Paris, he sought out Baron von Steuben, who was known for his excellent military leadership within the Prussian army. So really, our leadership formed from both ex-British militants and Prussian militants coming together and influencing the way that we do things. Actually, Baron von Steuben worked with Alexander Hamilton and Marquis de Lafayette to form a training manual for the Continental Army when it was first formed. This helped turn roughly about 35,000 troops into, 35,000 raggedy individuals, farmers, local villagers, into actual soldiers able to defeat a British army, professional army. Here's a little history I just touched on. Sorry, it's backwards. Okay, the real importance of leadership. First, what is leadership? Leadership is this. It's when two or more individuals get together, or one of them taking charge. Its importance in the military because it helps define structure and direction for all armed forces. That's Marines, Navy, Army, Air Force. We got the Anyways, military leaders, they've assumed or assigned responsibility of motivating, inspiring to achieve organizational goals. Now, a leader, you want as a leader kind of that characteristic within them to be able to lead and take charge in a moment's notice. There should be no hesitation at all. They should directly go into it and wholeheartedly understand and know what they need to do. If not, seek out advice from others. Here's a little leadership importance. Sorry, it's backwards again. Different traits. Leaders must have outstanding character, live by the military values, showing empathy to others, embraces military ethos, presence. They have to be presence in the present, maintain their military bearing, be physically fit, be composed and confident. And nobody wants a leader that is, let's say, he doesn't walk the walk or talk the talk, as they say. You can't delegate to others something that you can achieve yourself. And the military, in their leadership aspect, that is very important. They have to be intellectual, maintain their composure, combat situations, garrison environment, which is back in the United States, make sound judgment calls and always remain innovative. Battlefield changes, new worlds changing, technologies changing. You have to keep up on that constantly. You have to be informed, stay informed, making sound judgment calls. That's battlefield and back home. It's not one or the other. You have to consistently be doing this. There's a little leader traits. Now, all that being said, let's talk about a little influential leaders in military history. First and foremost, let's understand this. Military leadership is extremely important and helps shape, mold the United States, period. In fact, that's a great reason why, if you think almost all United States presidents have served or been part of some sort of military organization, almost all, not entirely all, but I'm willing to bet over 95%. Okay, George Washington, first and foremost, obviously Continental Army, 1775. He was assigned taking about 35,000 unprofessional soldiers and making them professional. Look to others for advice. Obviously, Alexander Hamilton, von Steuben, Marcus de Lafayette. He let them write the training manual for the army, and obviously it worked out. He defeated the professional Britisher. Next is Winfield Scott, also known as Old Fuss and Feathers. Basically, what made him and the important traits that we've taken from him is he demanded his men maintain a military appearance at all times, no matter what. Also demanding discipline within his soldiers, and he was known for something called the Anaconda Technique. This happened in the Civil War. Basically, what he wanted to do is you have a stretch of army, the Southern Army. He wanted to cut them in the middle, separating the two, taking away their supply route, which would then force them to give up. It was actually smeared at first, but after it was put into play, it was widely accepted and adopted by the Union troops. A main reason why they overcame and defeated the Southerners. So those two right there. Robert E. Lee, respected by all his men, almost considered the greatest general of any war. He was considered the best by both Union and Southern troops. He always maintained his high strength of character at all times, no matter what, in defeat, in victory. He respected and genuinely cared for his men. That's something military leaders really need. You need to understand your men. You need to care for them. I believe in any leadership that helps them truly perform for you and maximize their effort. Another leader, Ulysses S. Grant, he also maintained a never give up attitude. Was very known to make a lot of mistakes, but the one thing about him is he learned from his mistakes, something that a leader within the military is very important. Very important to learn from your mistakes. Making two or more of the same mistake could prove very critical. He had high drive and resolution. Instead, he was offered a job in Washington, turned it down to go to the battlefield and take control of the struggling army at the Potomac. ended up defeating the Southerners there. So history on these two gentlemen. Next, another great one. Another one countless movies made about. George Patton. Innovative leader, known for his brilliant military mind, directed his subordinates when troops during World War II threatened to overrun Bastogne. Patton led his group of men through mud, sleet, snow in order to relieve the troops at Bastogne. He was known for not only being great himself, but leading his troops to a high level of greatness. Believed in his troops. That's a huge military quality for leadership. You had to believe in your men. You're one person. You had to direct up to anywhere from 5, a platoon level, to, we'll say, a brigade level. There could be thousands of individuals, and being able to do this is extremely important. Next is Louis Chesty Puller, one of the most decorated Marines of all time, known for leading over 19 military campaigns, always kept his morale high, quick wit during combat. This gave no stress in a stressful situation for his soldiers, their mindset. His leadership style was always maintained. Obviously, we're going to first say that this isn't always correct, but it worked for him. He always stayed positive, no matter what. In the face of doubt, in the face of defeat, always maintained this positive attitude. This helped make his men work harder for him, and actually, obviously, being one of the most decorated Marines, it helped put him above everybody else. His troops were known to do anything for him. Another individual, Dwight D. Eisenhower. Everybody should know who old Eisenhower is. Led by obtaining cooperation through his team. Being a leader isn't just saying this, that, do this, do that. I understand that you're going to have enemies, you're going to have friends. Having a strong personality and able to be good-natured and inspire trust within your men, I believe that's very important and very critical of a leader in order to maintain 100% accountability for your men. The next we have is Dudley Mush Morton. Was very fierce and very fierce, and definitely had a daring tenacity of him. Always gained overall trust of his men. They were said they would follow him anywhere. Didn't matter. They said they would follow him to the bottom of the ocean if they had to. They had extreme knowledge of his responsibilities. Eugene Fluckey, one of the most daring submarine commanders, truly believed in all his men, all his small group of men. Very innovative leader, recognized his hard workers and rewarded them. Something that leaders must do. You have to give credit where the credit is due, and all too often this doesn't happen to many people. Here's a little history on these men. Norman Schwarzkopf, last but not least, known to risk anything for his soldiers, showed extreme loyalty to his soldiers in a Vietnam combat situation. His men were pinned down and taking heavy fire. He actually jumped on a helicopter and went to relieve his men in order to get his men to safety. Was once blown up in an explosion, and he still led his men to safety, even being gravely injured. He was very known for getting in the trenches, get his hands dirty, lead by example. Now, that's just a slight little information on how military leadership has changed and derived from past experiences to present experiences, and how it's been shaped and molded. Again, thus letting us know that it is extremely important for us to always be innovative. Be, no, do. That's what they say. Be a leader, know what a leader does, and do what a leader does. We're not going to all be great at it. We're not going to all know everything. But that's where it takes past and present experiences. That's how it helps shape and mold you. You don't have to follow these men. You can follow your current leaders. I'm sure there's many out there. Take for example, any situation that you could take bad from leaders and good from leaders. And the bad, you could say, I'm not going to do that. The good, you can say, I would like to incorporate that in my leadership style. And I feel that's why military leadership is second to none. Thank you for listening. Sorry for the backwards little slides, and I really feel dearly on this subject, and I believe military leadership is extremely important, and it's nice that it can be spoken about in an informational speech like this, and truly believe that if you can lead in the military, you can lead anywhere. Thank you.